Have you ever felt trapped inside your own mind, replaying the same thoughts until they drain the life out of you? You tell yourself you're just being careful, just being prepared, but deep down you know it's not clarity you're gaining, it's fear. Each thought feels heavier than the last, piling up until your chest feels tight, until sleep won't come, until peace feels like a distant memory. You wonder why no matter how much you think, the answers never come, only more questions. And maybe you've tried to hide it. A smile here, a laugh there, but inside, it's chaos. Nobody sees how loud it gets when you're alone. Nobody knows how much you wish you could just shut it off. You don't want to live like this. You don't want to keep carrying the weight of every possibility, every mistake, every fear of the future. But here's the truth. You don't have to. You were never created to hold the world on your shoulders. You were never meant to solve every outcome or predict every storm. That's not your burden. That's not your role. There's another way, a way that doesn't demand endless thinking, but simple trust, a way that doesn't drain you, but restores you. If you're tired of fighting a battle you cannot win, lean in, because freedom is not found in overthinking. It's found in letting go. And when you do, you'll discover the peace your soul has been craving all along. Do you want me to continue writing the next section in this same immersive style, carrying the emotional arc forward? You've been carrying the weight of every decision, every fear, every outcome as if your life depends on holding it all together. But the harder you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. That's why you feel drained. That's why peace feels like something other people get to have, but not you. Because you've been living under the lie that control equals safety, and yet all control has ever given you is anxiety, doubt, and sleepless nights. Think about it. Has all the overthinking ever brought you peace? Has it ever given you certainty, or has it only stolen your joy, one thought at a time? You already know the answer. Deep down, you know this cycle won't end by thinking harder. It ends when you stop believing you were ever supposed to be in charge of everything. There is a power greater than you, a wisdom beyond your understanding, a strength that doesn't break when life gets heavy. That power has been waiting, not for your plans, not for your strategies, but for your surrender. The moment you stop trying to play God is the moment you finally feel His presence, lifting the weight you could never carry alone. This isn't weakness, this is freedom. To release what was never yours to control, to trust what you cannot see, to finally breathe again without the chains of endless what-ifs. You don't need to keep drowning in your own thoughts. You can choose right now to let go, to trust, to be free. Do you want me to keep building this momentum and carry the narrative into the next powerful shift where surrender turns into strength? The chains that hold you aren't made of iron. They're made of thoughts. Every what if, every replay of the past, every fear of the future has wrapped itself around you until you can hardly breathe. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. You don't have to keep living like this. You don't have to let your mind bully your soul. You don't have to keep walking through life like a prisoner when the key has been in front of you the whole time. The key is trust, not trust in yourself, because you already know how heavy that burden feels. Not trust in the world, because the world shifts like sand beneath your feet, but trust in the one who has never failed, the one who sees what you can't, the one who carries what you were never meant to hold. And this is where the urgency rises, because every day you keep holding on, you lose another piece of your peace. Every moment you keep clinging to control, you rob yourself of the life you could be living. Life doesn't wait. Peace doesn't wait. God is waiting, but He won't force your hands open. That choice is yours. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up without the noise. Imagine moving through your day without the crushing pressure of needing to have every answer. Imagine replacing fear with faith, anxiety with assurance, chaos with calm. That's not a dream, it's a decision. The moment you let go, everything changes. So the question is no longer, what if I can't? The real question is, what if I can? And what if I've been delaying the life God already prepared for me? Every second you spend overthinking is a second stolen from your life. While your mind runs in circles, opportunities slip away. While fear writes the story, your future waits untouched. And the longer you wait to let go, the deeper the chains dig in. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you feel tired, because you're fighting battles that were never yours to win. But what if you laid it down? What if you stopped pretending you could control the uncontrollable? What if you finally believed that God's plan is greater than your fear? The storms you keep trying to predict, He already calms them. The doors you keep trying to force open, He already knows which ones lead to life. You're exhausting yourself chasing control when peace has been one surrender away. This is the moment everything shifts, not tomorrow, not someday when you feel ready, right now. Because hesitation is the enemy of freedom. Every delay keeps you bound to the very weight you want to escape. The voice in your head will tell you to wait, to think a little longer, to figure it out yourself. But that voice has lied to you before, and it will keep lying until you silence it with trust. So choose. Choose faith over fear. Choose surrender over control. Choose to place your life in the hands of the one who never fails, because the longer you wait, the more you lose. But the moment you let go, you win back everything: peace, clarity, freedom, life. And maybe for the first time, you'll feel it. The weight lifting, the storm quieting, the calm you've been craving flooding your soul. This is what happens when you stop overthinking. This is what happens when you let God take control. Peace isn't a distant dream. It's not reserved for people stronger than you, calmer than you, or more faithful than you. It's here waiting the moment you decide to stop wrestling with what you cannot change. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to see the entire path. You only need to take your hands off the wheel and trust the one who already knows where you're going. But here's the urgency. You don't have forever. Life is moving. Doors are opening and closing. Every day you stay trapped in your head is a day stolen from the life you were created to live. Overthinking doesn't just cost you peace, it costs you purpose. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets to break free. This is why surrender matters, because surrender isn't losing, it's stepping into a victory you could never earn on your own. It's trading anxiety for clarity, fear for faith, chaos for calm, and when you make that trade, everything changes. You think differently, you see differently, you live differently. The life you want is on the other side of letting go. And you know it, you felt it deep down, that pull to stop fighting, to stop controlling, to finally trust. That's not weakness speaking, that's God calling. He is asking you to give Him the weight you can't carry, because He already carried it for you. So don't wait another day. Don't let another night be stolen by racing thoughts. Freedom is here, peace is here, but only if you choose to let go and place everything, your fears, your future, your life, in His hands. This is your moment. Take it. The moment you decide to let go, you break the cycle that has held you hostage. No more spirals. No more endless questions. No more living in fear of what might happen. That fear has stolen enough from you. It's taken your sleep, your joy, your hope. But it doesn't get to take your future. Not if you choose differently right now. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about trusting a greater reality. The one you can't always see, but the one that has always been guiding you. When you stop demanding to know every answer, you make room for faith, and faith doesn't need every detail, because faith knows who is in control. Your mind will fight this. It will tell you to hold on, to think harder, to not let go. But that's the same voice that has kept you in chains for years. It's time to silence it. It's time to step into freedom, because the life you were created for cannot coexist with the prison of overthinking. Think about it. How many more days do you want to lose to fear? How many more nights do you want stolen by doubt? How much longer will you allow the enemy to convince you that control is safer than surrender? Every moment you delay is another moment wasted, but every moment surrendered is a seed planted for peace, for strength, for a future you can't imagine yet. This is not just about relief from anxiety. This is about stepping into the life God wrote for you before you even took your first breath. A life not ruled by fear, but by freedom. A life not crushed by pressure, but lifted by grace. A life that begins the instant you stop clinging to control and finally let God take over. You've been carrying a weight you were never designed to hold, and it's been breaking you from the inside out. That's why you're restless. That's why you're worn down. But here's the truth. What feels impossible for you is effortless for God. What overwhelms you doesn't overwhelm him. What confuses you doesn't confuse him. He sees every detail, every outcome, every path, and still says, "Trust me." But trust isn't passive. It's not sitting back and hoping for the best. Trust is active surrender. It's the bold decision to place your life in hands far stronger than your own. And once you do, you unlock a power greater than fear, greater than doubt, greater than anything that's tried to chain you down. This is why the stakes are so high, because every day you choose fear over faith. You're choosing to live small when you were created to live free. You're choosing survival when you were designed for victory. And the longer you delay, the more life you forfeit, not because God withholds, but because you keep clinging to what he's been asking you to release. Right now, everything changes. Right now, you decide whether you'll keep living trapped in your own head or step into the freedom that's been waiting for you all along. Imagine it. The weight gone, the fear silenced, the storm within finally calm. That's not just possible, that's promised, if you choose surrender. So let this be the moment you stop running in circles. Let this be the moment you lay it all down and whisper the words your soul has been aching to say. God, it's yours. Because when you give him control, you don't lose. You finally win. When you finally let go, something powerful happens. The chains that once defined you begin to fall. The weight that pressed on your chest lifts. The storm that raged in your mind quiets. And in that silence, you hear what you've been missing all along, the voice of peace, the voice of God, steady and sure, reminding you that you were never alone. This is where your life begins to shift, because surrender isn't the end. It's the start of everything you've been searching for. The clarity you wanted from overthinking, it comes from trust. The strength you've been desperate for, it comes from faith. The calm you've been chasing, it comes from letting go. Everything your heart has craved has been waiting on the other side of one choice, release. But you can't half surrender. You can't say you trust while still clinging to the pieces you're afraid to give up. God doesn't ask for fragments of your heart. He asks for all of it. Because only when you give him everything can he replace fear with freedom, doubt with direction, and anxiety with assurance. So the urgency is this. How much longer will you hesitate? How many more nights will you sacrifice to thoughts that were never meant to define you? How much more life will you waste waiting for certainty when certainty has already been promised through him? This is your chance to stop living as a prisoner of your own mind. This is your moment to trade chaos for calm, fear for faith, control for surrender. Don't let it pass you by. Whisper it, cry it, shout it if you must, but say it. God, I'm letting go. I trust you, and watch as peace, real peace, finally takes its place in your heart. This is the battle of your life, and it's not against the world around you. It's against the war inside your own mind. Every thought that tells you you're not enough. Every fear that convinces you you'll fail. Every lie that whispers you're safer clinging to control than surrendering it. Those voices have ruled you long enough. They've stolen your peace, your confidence, your freedom, but they only have power if you keep feeding them. The moment you decide to let go is the moment their grip begins to break, because fear cannot survive where faith takes root. Anxiety cannot thrive where trust is planted. Darkness cannot remain where light steps in. And when you let God step in, you're no longer fighting with your own strength. You're carried by his. That's the turning point, when everything shifts. But you must choose. No one can do this for you. You can't outsource surrender. You can't delay it until it feels safe, because surrender will never feel safe to the part of you that wants control. That part will fight to the very end, and if you give it the power, it will keep you trapped forever. So make the choice now. Rip the weight off your shoulders. Tear the chains from your hands. Declare with every ounce of strength in you, I trust you, God. Do it scared. Do it trembling. Do it unsure. Because even shaky faith is stronger than the strongest fear. And when you make that declaration, the atmosphere shifts. The burden lifts. The enemy loses. You step out of survival and into freedom. You step out of fear and into faith. You step out of overthinking and into peace. This is not just a moment. This is the beginning of a new way of living, and it starts the second you let God take control.